Hello and welcome to Awaz News. I'm Kubra Ali and I'll be taking you through big news across Canada.
Man critically injured in downtown assault. Ontario elementary teachers take next steps ahead of strike vote. Ontario banning online gambling commercials featuring athletes and celebrities. Hamilton Health Sciences says 8 employees fired for medical record snooping. Hospital worker charged after patient sexually assaulted twice in Toronto ER. Video shows moment paramedics helped victim of CNE's Polar Express ride incident. Developers tried to sell Greenbelt properties amid ongoing government discussions, Ford says.
These were the headlines and let's jump right into the details.
8 employees at Hamilton Health Sciences have been terminated after their employer alleges they inappropriately accessed the personal health information of thousands of patients. In a statement released this week, Hamilton Health Sciences (HHS) said the privacy breach involved 4,000 patients. There is no evidence that patients' health information was printed, downloaded, or electronically shared with anyone, the statement read. We have concluded that these were snooping cases. A letter has been issued to affected patients and the Information and Privacy Commissioner of Ontario has been notified. Patients impacted by the breach can also contact the hospital at 905-521-2100 extension 77488 for more information. The statement went on to say that the hospital has implemented a number of policy systems to prevent further privacy breaches, including staff training, routine and random audits of access to patients' information, and an ongoing review of hospital systems and information sharing practices. When asked if the police have launched an investigation into the privacy breach, a spokesperson for HHS said only that it has informed the Information and Privacy Commissioner of Ontario (IPC) and the regulatory colleges where appropriate. A man was rushed to hospital with critical injuries after an assault in the city's downtown core on Monday night, Toronto police said. According to police, the incident occurred on King Street West and Portland Street, located just east of Bathurst Street, shortly before 11:30 p.m. Paramedics transported one victim to hospital with life-threatening injuries, police confirmed. Investigators said the suspect fled the scene but was later arrested. Anyone with information about the assault can contact police at 416-808-1400. A union representing elementary teachers and education workers in Ontario is taking the next step in its bargaining process ahead of a strike vote in the fall. In a statement issued Tuesday, the Elementary Teachers Federation of Ontario (ETFO) said it has applied for conciliation with the Minister of Labour. ETFO President Karen Brown said the union's members are running out of patience. Conciliation is a formal mediation process in which a third party is brought in to work with both sides and help find a resolution. It's a common process prior to union members engaging in any strikes or work action. ETFO has publicly said that it plans to hold strike votes in mid-September and mid-October. The announcement comes days after the Secondary School Teachers Federation Ontario OSSTF came to a tentative agreement on a process to avoid a strike. According to ETFO, the agreement includes binding interest arbitration, something they are not prepared to consider at this time. In a statement to Awaz News, Education Minister Stephen Lecce said his office is continuing to urge ETFO to come to the table and accept a deal. The two Catholic teachers' unions have also rejected the government's binding arbitration pitch, which would ultimately put the final bargaining decision on a neutral third party. If no agreement is made during conciliation, a no-board notice will be issued. At this point, a countdown to a legal strike or work action will begin. Premier Doug Ford says he is considering placing 2 properties back into the Ontario Greenbelt after learning that developers quietly listed the land for sale. The properties combined located at 765 and 775 Kingston Road East in Ajax, Ontario, were one of 15 sites selected for extraction from Greenbelt in 2022. According to the Premier, At some point during the 30-day consultation process, they were both listed for sale by developers. In response, Ford said the government is exploring every option available, including putting the land back into the Greenbelt, which was created in 2005 to protect environmentally sensitive lands in the province. In November, the progressive conservative government removed about 7,400 acres of lands from the Greenbelt for development while adding about 9,400 acres to the protected land elsewhere. At the time, the government argued the decision was necessary as part of its pledge to build 1.5 million homes in 10 years. On the Greenbelt land itself, the government said that at least 50,000 homes would be built, the construction beginning no later than 2025. However, an Auditor General's report released earlier this month said that not only was the development of the Green Belt not necessary to reach the province's goal of building 1.5 million homes, but that the decision-making process favored certain developers, three of which now own about 92% of the previously protected land. The report also found that criteria for site selection regarding environmental or agricultural issues were removed after it was determined that most of the properties wouldn't meet the set parameters. The Ajax site is one of the few properties that did not need unique consideration as it was adjacent to existing settlement areas, adjacent to the edge of the Greenbelt boundaries, and would not result in the removal of specialty crops or natural heritage system lands. According to the Auditor General, the primary developer responsible for the 133-acre site is Buena Vista Development Corporation. Property records show a large parcel of the land was purchased in June 2018 for about $15.8 million. According to the Canadian press, a private sales listing says the family who owned the land prior to the sale had started the process of exempting the land from the Greenbelt designation in 2013. The listing touts the potential of huge financial reward and says the land would support a mixed-use development. It was put up for sale again in February 2022 for $1 but wasn't sold. A year earlier, the town of Ajax gave a collection of buildings on the site designated heritage status, which means the town has some control over what is developed there. The owners of the 15 Greenbelt sites chosen for development could see more than an $8.3 billion increase to the values of their properties. Ford has previously said he would not be reevaluating or reversing his decision to develop the Greenbelt. A man employed as a personal care worker at various hospitals across the Toronto area has been arrested and charged after he allegedly sexually assaulted a patient in the emergency department on 2 occasions. In a release issued Tuesday morning, Toronto Police said officers with the service responded to a call for sexual assault on May 26th in the area of Bathurst and Dundas Streets. Investigators alleged that the personal care worker sexually assaulted a male patient who had attended the emergency department for medical assistance twice, once in their room and once in the bathroom. On August 3rd, police arrested 39-year-old Toronto resident Islam Al-Majri and charged him with 2 counts of sexual assault. The charges have not been tested in court. According to police, Al-Majri has been recently employed in various hospitals across the GTA, and investigators are concerned there may be more victims. Anyone who believes they may be a victim or has additional information on the alleged incident is being asked to contact police at 416-808-1400. Athletes as well as some celebrities will no longer be allowed to appear in commercials promoting online gambling in Ontario. The new rules proposed by the Alcohol and Gaming Commission of Ontario, AGCO, will go into effect at the end of February 2024. The ACTU argues that a ban on the use of athletes and celebrity endorsements would help safeguard children and youth who can be particularly susceptible to such advertising content. CEO and Registrar of the AGCO, Tom Mungham, has previously told Awaz News the amount of advertising associated with gambling has increased since the province legalized single-game online sport betting just over a year ago. In May, the Centre of Addictions and Mental Health, as well as other organizations, said They supported an early proposal to restrict athlete and celebrity participation in gambling advertising, as children and youth, as well as those already experiencing gambling problems, are especially susceptible to these effects. As of February 28, no athletes, both active and retired, may be used in advertising and marketing for internet gaming in Ontario, with the exception of advocating for responsible gambling practices. The same rules apply to the use of celebrities, role models, social media influencers, entertainers, cartoon figures, and symbols who would likely to be expected to appeal to minors, the ACGO said. The changes do not affect regulations to volume, location, or style of the advertising, Mungham clarified. The proposal by the AGCO comes after significant criticism from advocates, experts, and parents about the notable rise of online gambling advertisements, especially during live sports. For example, during the 2023 playoff series games between the Toronto Maple Leafs and the Florida Panthers, nearly 8.5 minutes of advertisements were dedicated to online sport gambling. Former Olympian and University of Toronto professor emeritus Bruce Kidd told Awaz News in May they recently launched a campaign to ban ads for gambling because watching them on television today feels like I am in a casino. And Kidd isn't the only one to express concern. Canadian Senator Marty Deacon has introduced legislation to compel the government to regulate gambling ads, including limiting or banning the participation of celebrity athletes. Single-game sports betting was legalized in Canada in 2021, but each province has been left to determine how to regulate the industry. A new video footage has surfaced showing paramedics rendering aid to a man who was seriously injured following an incident on the Polar Express ride at the Canadian National Exhibition on Monday night. In the video obtained by Awaz News, paramedics can be seen tending to the man before he was rushed to the hospital. In the footage, one of the paramedics appeared to be bracing the man's neck as he lays on his back beside the ride. The CNE says that its Polar Express ride will remain shut down pending an investigation into the incident. Toronto police said Monday night that one person was taken to the hospital after an injury on the ride. Toronto Paramedic Services said he sustained serious but non-life-threatening injuries. The ride was cordoned off with police tape, and multiple officers were on site to hold the scene, which was in the middle of the busy Midway area. Thousands of people were packed into the CNE grounds Monday night to take in rides, games, and shows, including a performance by 80s band A Flock of Seagulls. The exhibition, in its final week for the summer, runs through Labor Day, September 4th.
Thank you for tuning in. I'm Kubra Ali. I'll see you back tomorrow, same time, same channel. Have a good night.